In this video, I'm going to look at the effects of early specialisation on talent development in sport. Early specialisation is where an athlete commits to one sport with the aim of progressing in it at a young age. So, what are the benefits of early specialisation? Well, researchers state that it requires 10,000 hours of practice until someone becomes an expert at something. So therefore, early specialisation would give someone the best opportunity of getting the 10,000 hours in. The work of Chase and Simon, who conducted a study on chess performance, found that players who practiced more seemed to be better. This adds further evidence to early specialisation being a good thing, because an athlete who's concentrating solely on one sport, according to this study, would get a lot better at it than other players who are doing different sports and different things. These 2 points provide really strong evidence in support of early specialisation in athletes. Now let's take a look at some of the downsides of early specialisation. There is a lot of evidence out there advising against the use of early specialisation in sport. For example, the work of Boyle and Yin found that early specialisation in a single sport can lead to less enjoyment of that sport and can lead to athletes dropping out or even getting eating disorders. The work of Dalton in 1992 found that early specialisation can lead to injury later on in life. This is because when performing one sport only, you're building up certain muscle groups and neglecting other ones. So when you're doing other things, say like walking, these weaker muscles are more likely to get injured. Whereas athletes who take part in multiple sports tend to train all the muscles in the body and therefore don't have weak muscles to injure. As well as these negative points, there is a lot of evidence to support early diversification in sport. It is thought to lead to sport expertise because of the intrinsic motivation that children experience through the fun, enjoyment and competence of taking part in it. It has also been suggested that skill and physiological conditioning developed through diversified child sport involvement may be transferable to athletes later on when they do specialise in one sport. So we know what the evidence says, but how can we use this to change our talent development programmes for the better? Looking at British Cycling's pathway model, I would make sure that any riders on the Olympic Development Apprentice Programme right through to the Olympic Academy Programme were all encouraged to take part in other sports, all in their own varying degrees and levels. For example, the ODAs should be encouraged to take part in school and local club sessions as they are still quite young. The academy riders, however, would be a lot more specialised and therefore only diversify slightly. For example, a rock climbing or swimming session once a week would give them benefits such as a core workout, along with the other diversification benefits we talked about earlier, whilst not impacting on their specific cycling training. In conclusion, there are pros and cons to early specialisation in sport. However, the overwhelming evidence that supports early diversification should not be ignored. Pathways should encourage athletes to diversify the sport they take part in to ensure continued physical and psychological benefits are continued throughout their development.